Scientists just announced they can wake up dead hair follicles, not just slow down hair loss, not maintain what's left, wake them up. There is a drug in clinical trials right now called PP405. And it's not like anything I've covered on this channel before. It doesn't block DHT. It doesn't slow miniaturization. What it claims to do is restart hair follicles that have already stopped producing hair by targeting your hair follicle stem cells directly. I made a video recently about clascoterone, Breezula, a topical anti-androgen that I was generally excited about. And that was exciting, but PP405 is operating on a completely different level of ambition. The question I want to answer today is simple. Is this real, or is it just another press release with a pretty graph that gets us all hyped up and then nothing happens? Because honestly, I've been here before. We all have, and I refuse to get played again without putting it through the filter first. Let me give you the full picture. PP405 comes out of UCLA. Two researchers, Dr. William Lowry and Dr. Heather Christoph, asked a question that sounds almost embarrassingly simple, but that nobody had really nailed down. Why does a hair follicle stop growing in the first place? And the answer generally comes down to energy. Now, stay with me here because I'm going to make this as simple as humanly possible. And yes, I'm aware that I say that in every single video. I do mean it this time. Think of each of you hair follicles like a tiny factory. Inside that factory, there are sleeping workers, stem cells, whose entire job is to build new hair. But when a follicle goes dormant, those workers aren't fired. They are not gone. They are just asleep at their desks. The factory still exists. The lights are still on. They just stopped showing up. Why did they stop? The factory's fuel supply changed. Normally, your follicle stem cells run on a specific type of fuel. PP405 cuts off the delivery of that fuel. And when it does, the factory is forced to switch to a backup, one that acts like a triple shot of espresso straight to the face of every single sleeping worker. They wake up, they look around, and they go, oh, we've got work to do. Then the factory restarts. New hair starts growing. I genuinely love this, not just because it could help millions of people, but because it's elegant. It's clever. Whoever figured this out deserves a very long holiday. Now, here's what makes PP405 generally different from everything else out there. Finasteride, dutasteride. Those drugs block DHT, the hormone that's been slowly sabotaging your follicles for years. Critical stuff. I still recommend them, but here's their limitation. They do nothing for follicles that have already gone quiet. They slow the damage, they don't undo it. It's like putting a fence around a house that's already half collapsed. Clascoterone, the drug from my last video, blocks that same hormonal attack, but from inside the follicle itself without systemic side effects. That's a smarter approach, but it's still fighting the same battle on the same battlefield. PP405 ignores that battlefield entirely. It doesn't even show up to that fight. It goes straight around the back, finds the sleeping workers and says, we are not done. That is why serious people, not just hopeful baldies on Reddit at 2 AM, are paying very close attention to this. Numbers time. I'm going to give you both sides, the exciting part and the cold water, because that's the deal we have on this channel. In June 2025, the company behind PP405, called Pelage Pharmaceuticals, announced the results of their first major human trial. 78 people, men and women with typical pattern hair loss, the kind most of us know very personally. Receding hairline, thinning crown, the whole experience. They applied PP405 topically, like a serum, every single day for just 4 weeks. That's it. 1 month. Then they checked back in 4 weeks after that, so 8 weeks from the very start. Here's what they found. In men with more advanced hair loss, not the mild stuff, the guys who were furthest gone, 31% of those who used PP405 showed more than a 20% increase in hair density. The placebo group, 0%, nothing, nada. The bald guys who got the fake serum stayed exactly as bald as before. I will give you a second with that. I know what you're thinking because I thought the exact same thing. That sounds insane and I want to be excited with you, but this is the part where I have to be the responsible one, which is not my natural personality. So bear with me. 31% doesn't mean everyone grew hair. It means roughly a third of men, specifically those with significant hair loss, saw a meaningful improvement. What happened to the other 2 in 3? Honestly, we don't fully know yet. And there is a legitimate scientific concern being raised, which I will explain without making your eyes glaze over. Remember your sleeping factory workers? PP405 is brilliant at making them wake up when they just fell asleep naturally. Normal rest cycle, a bit lazy, send them an espresso, then they are back. But in pattern hair loss, it's not just that the workers fell asleep. Over time, the factory itself starts filling up with rubble. Scar-like tissue builds up inside the follicle, slowly blocking everything. The doors, the ventilation, all of it. So the real question some scientists are asking is, can you wake up workers who are buried under the rubble? That is a completely fair question and it doesn't have a definitive answer yet, which is exactly why phase 3 trials matter so much. That said, and this is important, in March 2026, Pelage presented their findings at the American Academy of Dermatology, one of the most respected dermatology events in the world. Not a blog post, not a Reddit thread, the actual conference. And they showed real photos, not just slightly thicker hair. New hair, growing from follicles that had been completely silent, producing nothing. Look, I've seen a lot of before and after pictures in this space. Most of them I would describe as generous. These ones are harder to dismiss. Now here's where it gets interesting, because the hair loss community is generally divided on this. And I want to hear multiple voices, not just mine. On the optimistic side, Dr. Gary Linkoff, a surgeon based in New York, put out a video on PP405 that got over 400,000 views. He breaks down the mechanism, takes the early results seriously, and gives a realistic timeline. He is not screaming, "Cure!" He is saying, this is worth watching closely. I respect that take. Let's Get Hair, a solid channel in this space, covered the March 2026 AAD presentation and pointed to those before and after images as meaningful, early, real evidence. And then, and this is part of my favorite part of this whole conversation, you have Rob English from Perfect Hair Health. Rob is arguably the most analytically rigorous voice in this entire community. And Rob was not impressed. In a 21-minute video, which I watched entirely, you are welcome, he went through the press release essentially line by line and said, everyone, slow down. Small sample size, no peer-reviewed paper. And that 31% stats needs significantly more context before it means what people are acting like it means. And here's the thing, Rob isn't wrong to be skeptical. He's doing exactly what this community needs. Because, let's be honest, we have been burned. JAK inhibitors, hyped, stuck. WNT pathway, exciting science, years of waiting. Stem cells therapy, still just around the corner. Every few years something arrives, just gets us all excited, and then either disappears into trial purgatory or comes out at a price that makes it available to roughly 12 people on Earth. So, where do I personally land? I think the skepticism is healthy and necessary, and I think dismissing PP405 at this stage would be intellectually dishonest. The science is genuinely new and clever. The money behind it is also serious. 120 million from Google Ventures and top biotech investors. And I don't care how optimistic you are about hair loss treatments. Google Ventures does not write a 120 million check on vibes. They have people whose entire job is to say no to bad investments. My honest verdict, cautiously compelling. Very heavy emphasis on the word cautious. Okay, I need to pause here because something is happening that generally makes me angry and you need to know about it. People are already selling products online right now claiming to be PP405. Do not by them. A hair loss physician in Australia, Dr. Jonathan Hopkirk, put together an entire breakdown of fake PP405 products that are flooding the market as we speak. No real ingredient list. They are made up brand names. AI generated ads that look surprisingly convincing. Websites that vanish after a few weeks. Here is the absolute bottom line. PP405 is not approved. It has not been released. You cannot legally purchase it anywhere in the world right now. Full stop. If you see PP405 for sale online, you're looking at one or two things. Either a completely fictional product with a fancy label, or an untested chemical with zero human safety data from any real study. Neither one of those things should go anywhere near your scope or anyone or any other part of you. Don't fall for it. You are smarter than that and your head deserves better. So, where does PP405 actually fit? And more importantly, what should you be doing right now while you wait to find out? Let me use an analogy I've been thinking about and I think it lands perfectly. Treating hair loss is like fixing a leaking roof. Finasteride and dutasteride. They patch the hole. They stop the rain getting in. Essential. Start there. Then Minoxidil, it reinforces the whole structure. Better circulation, longer growth cycles, keeps everything as strong as possible while the repairs happen. PP405, if it delivers, is like a crew showing up to rebuild the sections of the roof that have already caved in entirely. That's a completely different job. And here's the beautiful part. Because it works through a completely different mechanism to everything else, you could theoretically use all of them together. Patching, reinforcing, and rebuilding. All at the same time, hitting the problem from every direction. That is the dream scenario. And it is generally scientifically plausible. But, and this is a big but, possibly the most important thing I say in this entire video, if you are sitting there right now thinking, I will just wait for PP405, it will be here in a couple of years, you are making a mistake that you will not be able to undo. Your follicles are not patiently waiting for you to make up your mind. Some of them are reaching the point of no return right now, and PP405 can wake up sleeping factory workers, but it cannot rebuild a factory that has been completely demolished. There has to be something left to work with. If you wait until 2029 and your follicles are gone, no drug can help you. Not PP405, not anything. The window closes. The best time to start was years ago. The second best time is right now. With what exists today. Everything I personally use and recommend is linked in the description. Check it out. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, I wish you a happy hair journey. Bye.